So welcome to your practice this day. And the theme for today is Shavasana. Shavasana being the root word shava in Sanskrit is corpse. So corpse pose. And over my trainings of many years, I've heard Shavasana explained as practicing the little death, learning to be still, inviting deep relaxation. I like this definition from Tom Myers. He says that Shavasana is a time to experience self-remembering. So physiologically, it's a chance for the nervous system to appreciate all the changes that are brought about with asana, with movement. And in particular, the autonomic system gets to balance itself. So between the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system, we get to find some more balance. And even when we're retired from work, even when we don't think that we're as busy as we used to be, most of us are quite busy, if not in our activities in our mind. We're in our sympathetic nervous system a lot, which is the fight or flight part of our nervous system. Simply being in our culture right now with a lot going on and news always coming at us and lots of things just lots of stimulus, we tend to have to really work to get into the parasympathetic nervous system. And yoga in general helps us to do that. So in the asana practice, in the movement practice, we're unlocking the flow of prana, the flow of life. We're experiencing that moving through our bodies. And then when we rest, and in every yoga practice, every system, no matter what it is, Shavasana is always included, always. So I think that speaks to its importance. When we put the rest part in there, we get an immediate sort of integration of how that flow of life, how that prana flowing through our bodies and nurturing our whole bodies, we get an immediate then response of how that integrates us. And maybe even we get an opportunity to feel a greater connection to source, and whatever you believe that to be. So relaxation, friends, is a habit. It's a habit, it's a pattern, and we have to practice it. And honestly, I've told some of you this, when I started practicing yoga, I would get up and leave when Shavasana came because I had a very strong identity with being busy, with being active, with moving all the time, and I didn't have time for the relaxation part. And I still have to really work at letting myself go and letting myself relax. So we have moments of Shavasana within asana, and those two, that balance of the stillness, the relaxation, the meditative movement of asana, that really is an example of how life is in general, right? So let's begin on our backs, if you're not already there. And we'll begin just with a very short Shavasana. My teacher in Santa Fe says that we begin with first Shavasana so that we can empty and then we can fill after. So as you come to your back, intentionally stretching out. Feel the earth beneath your body and the support of the earth. And if you can, let go into this smooth presence of what is simple, of simply being. If you find yourself agitated in any way, explore that. Keep working with that. It helps to establish a breath pattern. Increasing the inhale and exhale. And recognize too that we're not in complete stillness, that we are still a pulsating, vibrating being full of life. And then from here, let's bend our knees and take the soles of our feet to the floor. And take a couple of rounds of breath here just to feel again the support of the floor, your low back, perhaps pressing into the floor on the exhale. And on your next inhale, press into your feet, lift your hips and lift your arms behind you. So the backs of your hands touch the floor behind you, hips are lifted. And leave your arms here as you exhale and lower down, coming down one vertebra at a time, lengthening the tailbone away. And then another inhale. And on your exhale, bring your arms down alongside your body like you're making a snow angel back to the beginning shape. Inhale, press into your feet, lift your arms, let the backs of your hands touch the floor behind you. Stay here as you exhale and roll down one vertebra at a time. Really lengthening the tailbone away. Take another inhale and exhale. Sweep your arms down alongside your body like you're making a snow angel. So that's the vinyasa. We'll just repeat that. And I would encourage you to go slowly and really lengthen the inhale and exhale. And I invite you to do just as I'm describing it. So as you inhale, you press up and the arms come behind, and then on the exhale, lower down, leave the arms right where they are, and lengthen through the spine. Take another inhale, and then on the exhale, sweep your arms down along beside you. And do about maybe 6 to 8 more of those. Continuing that pattern. Really lengthen the tailbone away. And take a big sweeping action with the arms as you bring your arms back to center. Let's do 2 more, friends. And when you come back this last time, keep your knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor, but take your feet as wide as the edge of your mat. You can bring your arms to the goalpost position, and then on your next exhale, just drop your knees to one side, reach the opposite arm up, then away, and inhale the knees back to center, both arms to the goalpost position. Exhale, drop your knees the other direction, and reach the opposite arm away. And again, just take your time here to really get into the space of kind of moving slowly and scanning through your body. Just remember the asana is a time to unkink, to let prana flow. So awareness of where you might have some stickiness as you move back and forth through this easy movement. And if it feels nice at any point, you can rest on one side and hold that side. Hold the stretch on one side. And from our last few classes too, remember that breath is the container for the movement. So the breath comes first and it holds the movement. It contains the movement. And then just do 2 more now to make sure you've done an even number on both sides. And then with your feet back on the floor, knees bent, on your next exhale, draw everything into center. So take your arms, your hands on the front of your shins and squeeze your knees in. And then on your inhale, reach your legs up towards the ceiling, your arms behind you. So your body is the shape of a big L. And then the exhale, bring everything back together. Squeeze the knees in. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, squeeze everything in. The next time you have your knees into your chest, release your left leg down to the floor, or you could bend the knee and place the sole of your foot on the floor and squeeze your right knee into towards your chest or towards your armpit. And then just take your right hand and make some circles with your hand on your knee. So working in the hip. Take this in both directions. And then reach your right leg towards the ceiling, interlace your hands behind your thigh, press into your hands, pull back with your hands against your leg, reach the sole of your foot towards the ceiling. And then if you don't have your left knee bent, go ahead and bend your left knee, take the sole of your left foot to the floor and open up your leg to the right, right leg to the right, and left knee to the left, keeping your pelvis level. On your exhale, draw your right leg across midline and your left knee across midline. Inhale, bring your right leg out to the right, but only as far as you can keep your pelvis level so the left side of the pelvis stays on the floor. And then exhale, draw the legs across one another, right leg long, left knee bent. And back to center, and now both legs up towards the ceiling. Doesn't matter if they're completely perpendicular or if they're bent, it's fine. Release the right foot to the floor, bring the left knee into the chest, and then circle through your left hip. So left hand on your knee, making some circles here, just becoming familiar with the left hip experience and what that is this morning, this evening, today, in your body. Take this in both directions. And then reach your left leg towards the ceiling, interlace your hands behind your leg and squeeze against your leg with your hands and press against your hands. So isometric, opening the back of the leg. Bring your right foot up, set it on the floor so your right knee is bent, and open your left leg to the left. Right knee goes out in the same angle, and we keep the pelvis level here. So only as far as you can keep the pelvis level, and then bring the legs to cross one another. Back to center, and then out to the left one more time. Right leg bent, and the right foot on the floor, and then across your midline with your left leg. Good. And then both legs back up, pressing your feet away on the inhale, and on the exhale, bend and pull everything into center once again. Here you might just take a couple of side to side movements. One side of the lower back sort of resting on your kidney spaces. And then with your ankles crossed, you can rock up to a seat and come to table. Take your time to set your knees underneath your hips and your hands underneath your shoulders. And then just begin a few rounds of cat-cow. Again, breath comes first. And can you lengthen through everything? Lengthen the inhale, lengthen the exhale. We'll meet in the cow posture. So inhale, reaching through your heart space or your sternum forward and spreading through the tail feathers. Good, and then on your exhale, turn your toes under and press your hips back, downward facing dog. Inhale, drop to your knees, come back to cow. Exhale, drop your hips back, come back into child's pose. Inhale, slide your hands forward, resting on the forearms, and reach the chest forward in Sphinx. Exhale, lower your head to the floor. Draw your hands back under your shoulders. Inhale, come back up to all fours and into the cow shape. Exhale, drop your hips back, child's pose. Inhale, come up on your knees and reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, settle. Inhale, reach the ring fingers towards the ceiling, and exhale, twist to one side. Arms could be at the hips or straight. Inhale, sweep your arms back up. Maybe take a gaze at your hands. And exhale, twist in the opposite direction. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, take your hands to the low back, palms out. Draw the core in as you fold down, forehead to the floor. Inhale, reach your arms out in front. Exhale, settle your hips. Inhale, come up to the cow. Exhale, turn your toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, knees back to the floor, cow. Exhale, lower your hips back, child's pose. Inhale, slide your hands forward, coming into Sphinx as you reach the heart space forward. And exhale, lower your forehead down to the floor. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, press into your hands, come back up to the cow. And you might have to adjust your knees a little bit. Exhale, let your hips come back into child's pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Reach up, but draw the tailbone down towards the floor. Exhale, settle. Inhale, reach the ring fingers towards the ceiling. And exhale, come into a twist, one side. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, turn to the other side. Twist to the other side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, tuck your hands at your sacrum. Draw the core in as you fold down. Forehead to the floor. Inhale, take your hands forward. Exhale, settle the hips even more. Inhale, come up into the cow. Exhale, turn your toes under, press back, downward facing dog. Take about 3 rounds of breath here in your downward facing dog. Feeling for your body, building some heat. If you would like to, you could build a little more heat by bending the elbows, keeping them in towards each other, so not flaring out to the sides. You could go there. You could come forward into the high Dandasana, the high plank, to build some heat. Or you can just stay in downward facing dog. So one of the things that Savasana teaches us is to find that balance. So find the balance between the fire, the heat, and the coolness, the relaxation. On your next inhale, walk your feet up to your hands. If you have your block handy, this would be a great place for it. As you exhale into a forward fold, you might have your knees bent. And then with hands on blocks, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Reach crown away from pelvis. And exhale, fold. Great. Hands to hips now. Press into your feet, elbows squeezing in towards one another, and hinge up at the waist. Take your time. And then come into standing Tadasana. Great. Now as you inhale, come up onto your toes and reach your hands to opposite shoulders. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Take the hands behind opposite shoulders. And exhale, release down. So working the balance as you move in and out of this little shape. Maybe about 6 to 12 more times. The breath is the leader, so let the breath be first. We'll meet in Tadasana. Great, now take your feet nice and wide. Turn one foot forward so it lines up with the long edge of your mat. Pick your back heel up and turn the back heel. If you need to scoot the feet apart a little bit, this will be warrior one feet. Good. And then as you bend through the front knee, inhale the arms up. Exhale to settle, reach the tailbone down towards the floor. Here you could play around with your shape a little bit, so you could bend the back leg and press the back heel into the floor and then re-straighten. On your next inhale, straighten the front leg and open through your chest. And then on your exhale, bend your front knee again and bring the arms up overhead. Inhale, straighten the front leg and sweep the arms open. And exhale, bend the front knee and reach the arms up overhead. Okay, so that's the little pattern. Let the breath lead. Open through the chest. You can invite a little bit more of a back bend by taking your gaze back. And then on the exhale, you bend the front knee and ground down. Even though we're extending the arms up, we're grounding down through the legs. The next time your front knee is bent and your arms are up, stay here. Inhale to reach the ring finger up, ring fingers, middle fingers up towards the ceiling. And exhale, straighten your front leg, bring your hands behind your back and bow in a humble warrior. Inhale, bend through the front knee, reach the arms up. Exhale, straighten the front leg and bow into a humble warrior. And one more time, inhale, bend through the front leg and sweep the arms up. And exhale, hands to the back, to the lower back, to the sacrum, and bow into a humble warrior. On your next inhale, just lift your upper body, take your hands to your hips, turn your feet to be parallel to one another, and now we'll go to the other side. So turning the front foot to line up with the long edge of your mat, pick your back heel up and set it back down. Good, and we'll bend through the front knee as we lift the arms up. Check your posture if you want to here by bending the back knee, pressing the heel into the floor and re-straightening the back leg. Maybe your stance needs to be a little shorter. Reaching up. Good. The inhale is going to straighten the front leg and open through the chest. The exhale will bend the front leg and reach the arms up. Inhale, straighten the front leg, open. Exhale, bend the front knee and lift the arms. That's the movement. Take your time and let the breath, but let the posture, the shapes, the movement be contained in the breath. This is the life force. This is what we're doing with the asana practice, right? Pulling the life force through our body. Finding, unkinking the kinks as we move through the body. We'll meet with the front knee bent, arms up. Take a full breath cycle here. On the inhale, expanding chest, reaching through the hands. On the exhale, settling, grounding through the legs, tailbone down. Inhale to reach the ring fingers up and away. On the exhale, you'll straighten the front leg and come into humble warrior, bowing forward just as much as per your capacity. Inhale as you bend the front leg, sweep the arms up. And on your exhale, tuck your hands at your low back and bend into humble warrior. As much as works for you. If you need to keep your hands on your hips or a hand on the front leg, that's fine too. Inhale, sweep the arms up. This side might be different than the other side. And exhale, fold. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Let's hold now. Front leg bent, arms reaching up. And then bring your hands to your waist, lean your body forward, weight in the front foot, and step forward into a sort of modified chair pose, because fierce pose. So hips back, hands forward. And then deepen the squat, reaching the hips back, the hands forward. And finally releasing to a forward fold to your block. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Hands to the floor, step the feet back into downward facing dog. On your next inhale, knees come to the floor, cow posture. And on the exhale, drop the hips back, child's pose. On your next inhale, arms up onto your knees, reaching, taking your time, might be a little dizzy. And on your exhale, hands down, settle your hips down just beside. Take your feet to one side and bring your hips down to the floor. Good. Now from here, reach the legs out. Coming into staff pose. So we've done this a few times in the last month or so. Really, the hands behind, get the forward tilting pelvis, and then you can walk your hands up towards your hips. This might be your forward fold. Okay, and if you're able to keep that little forward tilt in the pelvis, you could inhale, open through the sternum, and exhale, hinging at the waist, fold forward. Your hands might land on your thighs or your shins, or down by your feet, depending on your body. Good. And then from here, just slide yourself forward till you have a bend in your knees. Take a look around and make sure you have everything that you might need for coming into a pretty long Savasana. Hands to the back of your legs as you lower yourself down. Before we settle completely and I do a little guiding, you might need something else here, a happy baby or some shifting back and forth. Go ahead and take your time to do what you might need. So I would encourage you, if you could, try to set yourself up without props first, coming to your back, and just seeing how that feels. If you do need to have something underneath your knees, a rolled up blanket or a bolster works fine. If you need to have something underneath your head, a little blanket underneath your head, that works. Make sure you're warm enough. And then do release your legs. Let gravity be your friend here. Let your feet fall out to the sides. Press lightly into the back of your head and just lift and tuck your shoulder blades underneath your body. Feel the fullness of your shoulder blades on the floor. If possible, your arms are resting out to the sides of your body, but not touching your body. Release your jaw. So your teeth are not touching, lips, just a slight touching of the lips. Relax the muscles around your eyes. In particular, between your eyes, the clenching at the brow, can you let that go? In this state of deep relaxation, but we're not asleep, we're fully aware and relaxed at the same time, if possible. Can you soften your inner ear so that you might have a deeper listening to what you need? I'll take us through a body scan, and then I'll leave you in silence. So beginning with your feet, just bring your awareness to your toes. Can you sense the soles of your feet? Can you have an awareness of your feet from the inside out? Feel your calves against the floor and relax both the calves and the front of the lower legs. Let go of any tension in your upper legs, the front of the legs. Feel your buttocks against the floor for an evenness here, right to left. And release any tension, any holding here. Feel the support underneath your back and the evenness of your back body against the floor. Release any tension in your shoulders. And feel for gravity pressing down on your arms. Soften your hands. Soften your hands even more. Awareness of the pulsation and vibration sensation in the palms. Let go of any holding in your neck. Let the skin on your face melt towards the earth. Soften the back of your skull towards the earth. And let go into the smooth presence of simply being. Sense your body moving from fragmentation to unification, to integration. Welcome this integration.
Hey.
Now you can stay as you are or place a hand on your heart. Thank you for your presence today. May whatever comes next in your day be richly blessed by the integration, this deep integration of body, mind, and spirit. Namaste.